Hello everyone, this is Kevin T. Rodriguez, film critic of iCritic.net, and welcome to a video that is sure to be demonetized, but we're going to talk about it anyway, and that is the fact that Danny Masterson, a star of a Netflix series called The Ranch, which I have not seen, full disclosure, has received reports from four women that he actually drugged and raped them. But unlike Kevin Spacey, Netflix has actually taken no action against the actor and has even announced that it will continue with the fifth season of the show, which is set to also star Ashton Kutcher. And I guess we need to talk about that. If you've been reading my iCritic website lately, and if you have never been to my site, the link is below. You'll know that I've been writing a lot about Kevin Spacey recently. The Harvey Weinstein thing kind of came when I was at like a writer's block, so I didn't really write much about him, but I started to get my groove back, and when Kevin Spacey came along, I was personally more connected to him as an artist than I was Weinstein, although Weinstein wasn't really an artist, he was a producer. He ponied up the money. Spacey actually created characters. And I admit, I've been a little perpetually disturbed by the Kevin Spacey stuff, the whole situation. I am disturbed by the fact that allegations were made in the first place. I was disturbed by his apology that while claiming he did not remember anything, and that very well may be true, he took it as a point to come out as gay to kind of shift the attention away from the allegations. I hate the fact that that actually worked for a day or two, that the media actually was talking about how he was gay more than he was talking about the allegations, although they eventually got around to it. I hate the fact that more people have coming out accusing him because that might make it true, although I'm also annoyed by the fact that there's been no official investigation, although apparently one might be starting today as we record this, so that could very well change by the time you see this video. I hate the fact that most of the new accusers are anonymous, because, you know, anonymous accusations for whatever crime is very cowardly in my opinion. And, of course, it annoys me greatly that before anything has actually been proven, Netflix decided to write him out of House of Cards. The decision to end House of Cards may actually have been affected by this scandal. And of course, what I was personally looking forward to, Gore, the biopic about Gore Vidal that Spacey was starring and produced. It got canceled even though it's in post-production and practically finished. I have very, very negative feelings about covering up work like that, even if the person in them isn't exactly a knight in shining armor. And it was definitely Netflix showing solidarity with the community. Hey, a beast has been awakened in our town. We know there's ugly truth and we need to cleanse it. But if anything, this story shows that the cleansing can really only go so far. So according to the Huffington Post, one day after a HuffPost report revealed that actor Danny Masterson is the subject of a criminal investigation into allegations of rape by four women, Netflix, which produces and airs the program he co-stars on, The Ranch, has told HuffPost it isn't taking any action against them. Quote, "We are aware of the allegations and the subsequent investigation and will respond if developments occur," a Netflix spokesperson said in a statement emailed to HuffPost. Four women have accused Masterson of violently raping them in the early 2000s. 1 year ago, the Los Angeles Police Department opened an investigation into the claims and found the evidence compelling enough to refer the case to the Los Angeles County District Attorney. The investigation has been overseen by one of the top prosecutors in the office, Reinhold Mueller. Now, here's what's interesting about this. Kevin Spacey, for all the allegations, for all the claims, for all the reports, no one actually went to the police so far. That I have read. That story could very well change. We'll have to see if someone was anonymous that they went to the police or not. I don't know, but there was no criminal investigation to Kevin Spacey. And now I think there is one that's starting, but it's because of the allegations. No one actually reported anything. Here we have someone who people have actually gone to the police. There is investigation, and after the interviews, they actually not only started a case, but they escalated it higher into one of the higher Los Angeles County police departments, and we have this Reinhold Mueller, who is a top prosecutor working on the case. Now, I have to be completely objective here because I fully live on the you are innocent until proven guilty. I want the evidence to be there. I want there to be substantial proof. Harvey Weinstein, even though I do believe he deserves his day in court, the evidence is very, very strong against him, so it's very unlikely he's innocent. Kevin Spacey, you know what? There's a lot of allegations, but so far there's nothing really tangible there, so it is still possible he could be innocent. But here's the thing. Kevin Spacey, again, allegations and no actual criminal activity confirmed yet. You know, the police department has not opened investigation. Nothing's being done. At the time of this recording, things might be starting, but that's a result of the allegations. In Danny's case, Danny, they actually did go to the police, and the police are building a case. That means there is a criminal investigation going on. That actually seems far worse than what's going on with Kevin Spacey, who so far it's been like a lot of people who come and said, well, he did this, but we don't have anyone actually reporting it to the authorities, which is what you should be doing. Because I know that there's like some debate people have, well, the authorities don't always help, and so you got to drag them in the mud. That is a very, very, very dangerous thing to be getting into. You don't want to get into the habit of thinking it's okay to destroy careers verbally and through the media, because we have court of law for a reason. Because what happens when one day you are accused of something you didn't do? Are you automatically guilty now just because someone said so? That's what bothers me. But here's the bigger question. With that said, now that Kevin Spacey has been having allegations but no actual, police investigation, but Danny Masterson has had a criminal investigation and it has one that is developing, why isn't Netflix doing anything here? Netflix was very quick to basically remove Spacey from House of Cards, but they're not so quick to replace Masterson. And I think the reason is probably the timing. Kevin Spacey came out pretty much very shortly after Harvey Weinstein and the other director, James Tobin, or whatever his name was. And, people are out for blood, as I've written multiple times in my recent articles. We want blood. We want them to suffer. But here's the thing. Shutting down productions and not releasing movies can only go so far, because almost everyone in Hollywood is a creep on some level. And if they're not a rapist, then heck, they might be a Republican. Heck, they might be cheating at the stock market. They might be doing any number of horrible things. Nobody's perfect, and everyone does bad things. I do bad things. You do bad things. Don't act like you don't do bad things. You do bad things in your personal life as well. So even if you say, oh, it's not as bad as this, well, guess what? It doesn't matter. You're still doing bad things. You have no moral high ground on this one. But, and so for a little bit, Hollywood was going to start canceling projects and pulling support. And Kevin Spacey was just simply the most high-profile one so far. But Netflix could theoretically write him out of Season 6 of House of Cards. And even though they say that they will not release Gore, guess what? The movie's finished and they spent millions of dollars on it. I would not be too surprised if they either sat on it for a couple of years and then released it during a dry spell, or somebody bought the movie from them and put like the finishing touches on it themselves, which I think is only like $1 million or so. And there is a huge helicopter or something that just went over. So, but on this ranch, Danny Masterson is the star. He can't be written out of the show. And also, here's the thing that Netflix is learning and what everyone's going to be learning soon. Just because there is an allegation made against someone, you can't just start canceling things and throwing away money just because of allegations. Netflix has lost a lot of money over the Kevin Spacey stuff, because not only did they spend millions of dollars on a movie that they're not even going to release, but I can almost guarantee you the final season of House of Cards is not going to have as many viewers, because Kevin Spacey is that show. He just is, and even though the people are mad at him and they don't like it, they'll never watch him again in it, guess what? They wouldn't watch a House of Cards without him either. So that means that House of Cards Season 6 is effectively wasted money at this point, in my opinion. And now they've got another show. like shortly after Kevin Spacey gets ousted as this creep, then Danny Masterson, even though there is a lot more solid evidence to suggest that Masterson did actually do what he do, where Spacey, it's just, again, hearsay. Well, they can't just cancel another show. I mean, they won't have a lineup because what happens next, you never know who's going to be the next scandal. Steven Spielberg might be the next scandal. You never know. But you can't, it's just, after a while, these studios are going to have to start taking things on a case-by-case basis. And I think you're going to start seeing less canceled projects. What you might start seeing more is whatever their current working relationship with that person is, they will wrap it up, and then they just will simply choose not to work with them again until the allegations blow over. That's probably what the new Hollywood is going to look like. And I know some people don't like that, but it's true. And here's the thing. Hollywood is a very forgiving place, especially when it comes to money. And in fact, it's even been pointed out how hypocritical Hollywood is, especially when Meryl Streep goes on TV and she says Harvey Weinstein is a monster and a bully and there is no excuse for people who take advantage of women. While 2 years ago calling Roman Polanski, who is a convicted child rapist, she calls him a genius and a fine man. This is Hollywood, folks. This is Hollywood. They forgive this thing, and so here's the thing. Don't expect Kevin Spacey to go anywhere. He will probably be back in 5 years or 4 years, whatever it is. Heck, he's got a movie coming out this year, and apparently the movie that he gives him a performance that is worthy of an Oscar, and he might actually get an Oscar nomination and a few other award nominations, and then his career will effectively be back on track. And don't expect him to go anywhere from House of Cards just yet, because here's the thing. A key word that people are overlooking this whole Netflix thing is that Netflix has technically not fired him. They have suspended him, which is the first step you have to take to terminate someone, and they have made it clear that they will not work with him on any future projects. But here's the thing. Kevin Spacey is an executive producer on House of Cards. That means he helps raise money for the show, and he actually even has, I think, a partial ownership in the show at this point. And should he choose to call Netflix's bluff, Netflix would actually be in a very sticky situation, because if he calls their bluff, I think their only response would be to cancel the show, which at that point, he could probably then sue them for breach of contract. So Netflix is not in a good position with this, and I'd expect this to develop a little more before we say this is the end of Spacey on Netflix. It's way more complicated than the news organizations want to make it sound. Heck, it's more complicated than even Netflix wants to make it sound. So who knows what's going to happen. And as for Danny Masterson, well, I will stand by original statement. You are innocent until you're proven guilty. And for everyone's sake, I hope he's innocent, if only because I hate to hear these stories. But here's the interesting reality, is that Netflix has basically killed one actor's career. Well, not kill his career, but they have punished one actor for allegations that have had no criminal investigation started yet. But someone who does have a criminal investigation, well, that person they're going to keep around. And I don't know how I feel about that. But now, of course, I pass the question to you. What do you guys think? Do you agree that Netflix did the right thing with Spacey? Do you agree that they're doing the right thing with Masterson? Do you disagree with either of the decisions or both? What do you think the future of the entertainment industry is going to be, as I'm certain more and more allegations will come to light? I'd love to know. Comment below. Like, favorite, share, subscribe. If you want to see more videos like this where I talk about controversial subjects, please consider becoming a Patreon member and donating at least $1 a month. It would greatly help, because movies like this don't get monetized. And as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.